excited were you when you officially got your license and had all that extra freedom? Well, did you feel at 16 years old that you knew all the tricks to being a good driver and had that mentality of, oh, well, nothing could happen to me? Well, I was one of those foolish teenagers who believed I knew everything about driving and that nothing could happen to me, that it only happened to other people. Well, a few weeks after I got my license, I was speeding on a back road, and a car pulled out of its driveway in front of me. My brakes locked because I just slammed on them, not knowing what to do, and I didn't stop until the car hit a telephone pole full force. And because I was speeding, I didn't have enough time to stop, and I didn't realize with the inexperience just how to handle hazardous situations. So even though something like this may not have happened to you, it probably happened to one of your friends, and it can happen to your kids. According to caraccidents.com, teens under the age of 18 are more at risk of being in a car crash. They tend to underestimate dangerous driving situations and are less able than older drivers to recognize these hazardous situations. I've done a lot of research by reviewing information from teen driving statistics prepared by Jillian Sabet and NHTSA, and I have the evidence to prove why the legal age limit for driving should be raised. So today I'm going to talk to you about why teenagers under 18 are more at risk of causing or being in a car crash. Then we'll get into some statistics and facts about teen driving. And lastly, after I've provided my evidence as to why 16-year-olds are unsafe on our roadways, I will share with you why some states have added to or changed their driving policies. Now, before we get started with why teens under 18 are more at risk of being in a car crash, I'd like to share a quote by Christopher Mullins pertaining to teen driving. He says, "Teens often feel invincible like accidents, especially serious or fatal ones. They can happen to someone else, but not me. When kids are adventurous, fearless types, learning how to ride a bike took tons of time, patience, and practice. And the same is true now when they're learning to drive." So, why are teens more at risk? Well, teens are too often convinced that they can easily handle the wide open road. And research shows that teens are more likely to tailgate and to speed because they don't realize how much patience is such a big factor in driving. It's been stated in several reports, one in NHTSA and one on caraccidents.com, that teens are more likely to drive under the influence of alcohol and drugs. So here's your evidence. Teens accounted for 5% of all alcohol-related crashes in 2008, according to Mr. Nike. And the RMIIA stated in a survey conducted last year that 53% of teens drove under the influence of drugs or alcohol at least one time. So we also have teen drivers, especially when first obtaining a license, they drive around for no reason. I'm not going to lie, I did, and I'm sure we all did. So if teens are driving around basically just for kicks, they're somewhat taking advantage of their driving privilege. With not having a lot of experience on the road, they're not only putting themselves at risk, but they're also putting other people on the road at risk. So teens also have the lowest seatbelt use at 45% according to caraccidents.com. So if teens under the 18 are too easily distracted, have the mentality of, oh, it can't happen to me, only other people, and have the highest crash fatality rate, why are they so easily able to obtain a driver's license? Now that I've explained why teens under 18 are more at risk of causing or being in a car crash, I want to focus on the teen driving statistics and facts. So why are motor vehicle crashes the leading cause of death for teens in the United States? Let's evaluate the facts and statistics of teen driving so we can answer this question. Well, 1 in 10 teens say they have driven after consuming alcohol or drugs, like I stated before. We can actually break this statistic down a little bit. As we all know, when we were in high school, the party nights were normally Friday and Saturday nights. More than half of teen deaths from car accidents occur between 3 p.m. and midnight, and that's 54% being on weekends. That includes Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 17 teens lose their lives every day in car crashes. So if you break that down a little bit, that's 31,000 deaths among teens in 9 years, and that's from Jillian Sabet from Driving MBA. So what is absolutely horrifying is that within 4 years, approximately 4,000 American soldiers died at war. And within that same time frame, that 4 years, over 27,000 teens died in car crashes on U.S. roadways. So with knowing these startling facts and statistics, wouldn't it be smart to raise the age to obtain a driver's license? Now that we've discussed some teen driving statistics, and I've provided evidence as to why we should raise the age to obtain a driver's license, I want to talk to you about what's going on in several other states to make this happen. The answer is plain and simple as to why they're trying to change their legal driving age. They want to keep teens from being involved in careless, avoidable car crashes and losing their lives. So basically, they want to save lives. In April 2004, 41 states within the United States put new laws into effect, and it prohibited teen drivers from driving in between certain times, how many people they could have in the car. And then in 2005, states such as Florida, Georgia, Massachusetts, and New Jersey made it a law you couldn't obtain your license until 17 years old. And they did this because there were one too many people losing their lives. California and Nevada actually put a law into effect, and that stated that all new drivers, since they were inexperienced, could only have people in the car that were over 25 years old and licensed, because they tend to get distracted when there's younger people their age in the car with the loud music and things like that. But apparently, this law had no impact because, according to NHTSA's annual report, these states, California and Nevada, still have the highest fatality rates with teens when it comes to teen driving. Officials of the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety in Chicago are trying to raise the driving age to 17 or 18 years old just to save lives. So it's obvious the majority of states are concerned about teen driving and the number of fatalities caused by it. So the facts are there to prove that it would be smarter to raise the age to obtain a driver's license. So let me end by saying that 16-year-olds and driving are not compatible whatsoever, and I can defend this statement with the story I shared with you about my own experience. If I was a bit older and took the risks of driving seriously, I probably wouldn't have sped and crashed into that telephone pole in the first place. So 17 teens are dying each day because of car crashes. And if we don't do something to raise the legal age to obtain a driver's license, then this number, these deaths, are going to increase. So when trying to decide whether or not to obtain a driver's license should be raised, think about your children and other teens who strongly believe nothing bad can happen to them, because I'm here to tell you it can happen to them. So thank you for your time and attention.